Hey peeps, it's PJ here. Doing a solo review on Black Ops Cold War. I've been playing it now for just under a week, and I've been pleasantly surprised with it. I've also been very nervous to do this review just because I know there's a lot of diehards, and I'm not the biggest Treyarch fan out there, by a long shot. But I just wanted to point out from the very beginning that I have been with Call of Duty for a very long time. I may not be the best player, I may not be up on top of the leaderboards like a lot of the YouTubers are, but I have been playing Call of Duty for quite a while. Not to flex, but literally just to point out, I've been with Call of Duty since Big Red One. It was actually a COD 2 expansion for those of you that have no idea what that is. It was not Modern Warfare 2, it was Call of Duty 2. And I believe it came back out. It came out back in 2005. I also did dabble in the first Call of Duty with Garrick because he was obsessed with the multiplayer, and it was just a whole new game that no one had ever seen before. It was a shooter that no one would have imagined could have existed, and it was on everybody's lips. Everyone was talking about how cool this new game is, and it's mind-blowing to me that over 15 years later, we're still talking and playing this game that just no one even imagined it would have been crazy like this. But I wanted to talk more about that and let you guys know from a perspective of someone that's been playing the shooter for over 15 years, my perspective of what Black Ops is, because there's been a lot of back and forth between how great this game is or how horrible it is, or a lot of YouTubers just putting out content in general saying that it's another game. Ones that don't want to say anything bad because they're either being sponsored by Treyarch or Activision or just being kind of neutral on the subject. So I'm going to be down and dirty about it. I'm going to tell you the truth. My opinion of the game itself. I think it's a fantastic shooter, standalone. Not Call of Duty, as a Black Ops game, I guess. I've always been a strong believer that Black Ops and Modern Warfare are two different games altogether. They're two different game developing studios that have two different ideologies for the game. The overlapping ideals and how they're handled might be exactly the same in a lot of respects, but the games play different, and I feel like they always have. Since the introduction of Treyarch into the series at Call of Duty 3, the series has felt different between the two of them. I feel like Infinity Ward has always been a little bit ahead as far as their graphics, the gameplay, the feeling that they invoke into the person. But Treyarch caught up very well with Black Ops once they had gone through Call of Duty 3 and Call of Duty 5, which weren't bad games, but they weren't up to my par. They were still in experimental phases. Black Ops created a whole entire new environment for Call of Duty and the storyline. It was in your face, it was gritty, it was violent. It told a story that Call of Duty hadn't been able to tell before. Now, going forward to Cold War, where we're revisiting these same characters, the same gritty feeling multiple years later. The game is fantastic shooter. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It is fun to play. It is very classic COD feeling. It is very classic arcade shooter. That being said, it is, I agree with a lot of people saying it, a step down from Modern Warfare, which I'll get into about the graphics and sound design, all that other stuff. But if you're looking for a cool shooter to play, either you're tired of playing Modern Warfare or you need a break or you just want the next thing in the series, it is worth getting. It is worth $60. I'm not going to lie to you about that. Unless if you're a discount bargain buyer like I am and typically am, go get it for a little bit cheaper during the holidays. But moving into the next thing, it is a good game. The gunplay and the sniping in the game. Right off the bat, I want you guys to know that Treyarch I've had issues with their shooters in the past because of the fact that I would complain that it didn't feel tactile when you shot someone. The hit markers didn't feel like they were actually hitting anything. It felt like you were shooting at water. And it wasn't solid. It didn't hit like Modern Warfare Infinity Ward's hit markers hit. And I know that sounds really strange. And Joey, it's funny to me because he actually pointed it out. Joey's another Phat peep in our group. That the guns in Modern Warfare feel very much more substantial than the ones in Black Ops and other Treyarch games. I can fully agree with that now, looking back on it. Even now, I feel like Treyarch's guns are less toy feeling than they initially were, but they still are less in your face, meaty, I guess is the best way to put it, than Infinity Ward's gun. And that's something I've had a hard time overcoming for a while, but I finally think that Black Ops and Treyarch have it at a point where it's bearable to me and I'm enjoying it now. The guns shoot well, they feel good. It feels like a good arcade shooter. And the sniping in the game, it's very point click, I guess is a good way to put it. It feels like almost like old school Halo, in the sense that it's just like wherever you're aiming, it's there. And that's it. I don't want to say it's hit scan. I no bullet drop, nothing like that. Which I guess in Modern Warfare multiplayer you didn't have that either. But it just definitely feels a little bit more simplistic. There's a lot of points where I don't feel like it's as satisfying as Modern Warfare sniping, so I actually haven't been sniping as much, which that's the thing is my go-to. But the guns themselves are fun. They're good. I don't feel like there's that many of them. I feel like Modern Warfare launched with way more, but the guns that are there are fun. They work. And then the non-mounting system, like not having a mounting system to me is definitely one of the biggest step backs in the game, because you introduce it in the game prior and it works so well and people love it, and then just take it away. And I don't know if that was an engine compatibility issue because they're still weren't running on the old engine, or if it, I don't know. I don't actually know what the issue is as far as that goes, but I'm missing it, and I'm missing the fluid movements that you get in sliding and stuff that you have in Modern Warfare. That being said, the game still feels great. It still runs well. I still enjoy the gunplay and the shooting. It's just, it's different, very much different. Moving into the maps of the game, there's only 8 of them, mind you, on launch. Very limited for multiplayer. I don't know how many Modern Warfare launched with. I know it was more than that. And it starts getting a little old, I will say, especially because I played the alpha and I played the beta very limitedly. So I'm 2 or 3 of these maps, I'm already like, I know these maps super well, and I feel like I shouldn't at launch. And that's partially my fault for playing the alpha and beta for extensive amounts of time. I'm not going to blame Treyarch for that. But such a limited amount of maps makes things difficult, especially when you're jumping from game modes and the maps kind of cross over with each other. But they feel good. They're very simple 3-lane maps. They're old school COD style. I enjoy them. I actually like some of them better than I like Modern Warfare maps, which I didn't think I was going to say. Because some of the Modern Warfare maps are just ultimately like, oh, I don't want to play on this one again. Or I hate this map. And I don't want to say that because I love Modern Warfare's maps too. But there's just some I do plainly horrible on. And that could just be a limitation of my own. But I feel like the verticality in Modern Warfare is off-putting sometimes. Where it's a lot more flat and simplistic in Black Ops. Moving on from maps into game modes, there's quite a few actually. I don't think there's as many as there was launch at Modern Warfare, or it's pretty close, but slightly less still. They're very simplistic ones. There's TDM, my favorite, Hardpoint, Domination, Kill Confirmed, VIP, Escort, which is a new game mode. I haven't played it extensively. I played a couple rounds of it. I think everyone's general consensus, including mine, is it's okay at best, but it's not first choice. Maybe it will be fun with a full pre-made group, Then there's Control, Free for All, Search and Destroy, and then Fire Team, which is their bread and butter new game. Fire Team for me, I only played a few matches because I couldn't stand it. The maps are too big. And I know that's a stupid gripe because the maps are supposed to be big. But I feel like there's a lot of downtime unless if you're landing directly into fire with people. But for a tactical game mode, I don't know. That's not my personality, is to land right in front of people and try to get kills. I might revisit that and try it again and just try to be aggressive more. But I like actually being tactical, and I maybe this game was not for me. But some people are enjoying it, and it looked cool. It definitely is laid out in a different manner, and it's different from anything that Call of Duty's ever done before. So I'm happy to see that they're exploring something, especially having the armor and down system in it. Going from there into graphics. The graphics, everyone sees the elephant in the room. The graphics are not as good as Modern Warfare. You cannot argue that. Anyone that tries to argue that, I'm sorry, but it's just proven. They're using an old engine, and we can beat this like a dead horse. But I feel like that shouldn't have happened. But it is what it is. They don't look horrible for 2020. I definitely think it feels like a 2-year-old game due to the graphics, but for what it is, it doesn't ruin the game, and it doesn't take away enough to make it so I don't want to play it. Which leads me into sound design. It, once again, seems like an older game because of the sound design, but I will say they are spot on with the footsteps, which Modern Warfare couldn't always say. They got broken at one point. We don't know how, but there's definitely a lot of points where my teammates were running next to me, and it felt like they were above me, and I thought they were an enemy. It's like there was no true to form note of how to tell where someone was, especially enemies. So I'd get killed a lot from behind. And I'm also very oblivious sometimes, so that's a possibility. But the sound design is pretty solid. It's just old. And going from there, animations. Once again, they are not as fluid as the gameplay. Like I was saying before, the sliding doesn't feel as fluid. The movements, the shooting, the animations, and what I'm talking about is the equipment. It's very robotic, especially the grenade throws. There is an absence of movement in your arm when you're throwing a grenade, and there's just like a point where it just pops out of you. And that's something I had a problem with in the alpha and the beta. I thought they were going to fix that. They didn't. Or they did, but very limitedly. It still looks very janky. But I'm not going to criticize them for that. It doesn't ruin the game. It ruins the feel, but not the game itself. So that's just one of those things I want to point out, and it could easily be fixed in the future, and I hope they do. From there, we go into optimization of the game. I am definitely running into some frame rate issues on a game that, like I said before, feels like it's 2 years old versus Modern Warfare, which is much better optimized at this point. And that's through patches and time and everything like that. Every time a patch comes out or an update, I should say, comes out for Modern Warfare, I have a little bit of frame rate issues. I'm talking as a person, and I'm playing on PC, mind you, so maybe the console players don't run into this issue. So this is a PC selective issue. I'm running on a slightly older PC. I have a 2060 Super graphics card, so that's newer. I just got that, but I'm running on an older CPU. It's an i7. Not horrible by any stretch, but it's not going to keep up with the i9s and the AMD 3900s and stuff like that. But it shouldn't be having as many frame rate issues. I feel like that is definitely an optimization issue when Call of Duty Modern Warfare has a better graphics engine and I can still run it at slightly higher frames. So hopefully that will get fixed. And this is why this is towards the end of my list of gripes, because it's something that can easily be fixed through time and just care. Going from there, these last few things are a lot lesser of issues. Actually, this next one is good things. I like the classic kill streaks that they incorporate, the perks. They brought back the classic bow from other Black Ops, and they also brought back the RCXD. I hated the RCXD in the very first few Black Ops, but I got used to it, and I slowly grew on me as they fine-tuned it and got it to a point where it doesn't annoy the crap out of you. So seeing that return is cool. I like the kill streaks. I like the perks in the game. No gripes there. My issues here. The loading screens, even on PC, which has much more power than, I'm not saying Xbox Series X or the PS5, but the Xbox One and the PS4, which I did play this on PS4, and I was thinking, oh, the loading screens are just taking forever because it's PlayStation. Just because it's on the PS4. No. They take a long time even on PC. And like I said, if I had a newer computer, maybe it would cut down a little bit, but I feel like the loading on them, it gets done and then you're sitting there for a few seconds. Not game breaking, not to kill anybody over it, but I shouldn't be waiting in between TDM matches as long as I do for a Warzone map, which is huge comparatively to a little tiny map that you're going to run around in circles 5,000 times. So that's one gripe. And then the very last point that I have is there's some minor UI and menu issues. One that I keep running into is if I tab out of the game after a game or just do some random thing where I don't wait long enough to press a button or something, I will get a button where I try to back out and go backwards out of the KD screen, the KDA screen, and it won't let me go backwards. And then I have to completely back out, which kicks me into the main menu, which minor issue because all I do is just join back in, but I shouldn't have to go all the way to the main menu to get back into a new game. Especially if I want to change my loadout for 2 seconds and then jump back into TDM. So both minor issues. Overall, I want to point out that the game is fun. I'm not attacking Treyarch. I'm not attacking Black Ops. I think this is probably the best Treyarch game I've played. I'm definitely an Infinity Ward fanboy, but I love Call of Duty overall. If you guys are looking for a new game to play, go check it out. I'm not going to discourage anyone from playing it because I've already put in quite a few hours on it. The limited schedule that I have, I crave playing it. So go show it some love if you're even moderately interested in it. And I'm intrigued to see what they do going forward with it and what a few updates and love from Treyarch will do to improve the few issues that I did have. But I hope you guys like my review. Let me know if you have any questions or comments in the comments, and make sure you guys hit that like button. Much love.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and fondle that bell.
Game over.